What's going on, guys and gals, and welcome
Well,
to Good Real Hunting, where we hunt for the good reels so you don't have to. It's your boy Brad, the Brett Man's over here, and Chris is underneath us. We have made it to the fourth entry into the Daniel Craig Bond franchise series review thing that we're doing here in Spectre, and we're excited to get into this one. Skyfall was a lot of fun. Spectre Gadget, man. Duh, come on, get out of here. This is his brother we're talking about. But no, we had a lot of fun with the last three reviews, so be sure to check out those as well. We'll put a link for them over Brett's head. Also, check out, I did a spoiler-free review for No Time to Die, so check that out as well. You know, who knows at this point?
You can find that link right up here.
that's right.
We're coming in here hot after seeing that, so we're pumped here. And yeah, man, I'm ready to get into this thing, guys. I'm excited about it.
Man, I'm excited for this one too. This one, we won't have quite much to say about it, so we're going to do like a review style on this video, different from the other ones. But that does not mean that we do not enjoy this movie. But we're just going to do something different with this particular one. But I'm ready for it. Chris, are you ready for it?
I'm ready, man. You know, I'm going to just reach down here and grab this real quick, and I'll just... And so you guys can't see that, but what this is actually my Logic police hat. And I'm going to be writing a lot of citations today, fellas. Okay, people are going to jail over this complete assault on human logic.
Okay. Right. Can't wait to see these citations that are getting whipped out. Brett, let's get the card up.
All right, let's do it. Go Gadget, tell the tape.
Spectre was a 2015 release, coming back to the franchise as Sam Mendes after he did Skyfall. 6.8 out of 10 IMDb, 63. I don't know what I just said, but 63 Rotten Tomatoes score with a 61 audience, $245 million budget with $880 million worldwide gross coming in.
Yeah, and all that with the numbers right there and the statistics. I can't say that word tonight. But anyways, they all looked actually exactly what I thought this movie would deliver. So I have no complaints about it.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
No, yeah, this all looks good to me, you know. But I will say I'm looking at the little symbol in the back, you know, and I really thought that the octopus, the physical creature itself, would play more of a role in this movie than what it actually did. So that's just another layer of disappointment that I'm adding there.
First citation there. So
that doesn't really defy logic, but that is yeah.
Fuck it. Let's just write citations for whatever, you know.
Let's do it. And besides one person, actually, you know, we could write a citation for this particular person. I'm sure Brad will get into it. But in this movie, we got Bond, James Bond, played by Daniel Craig. This is his fourth time playing the James Bond character, with his last one being No Time to Die, which we'll be reviewing here very, very soon. And, well, except for Brad. I'm not jealous.
Honestly, by the time this comes out, we should have this out before. Yeah, so yeah, it will be soon. It'll be soon.
It'll be very soon. But yeah, Daniel Craig, I thought he was just okay in this, and I'll go into more detail about it. Let's go to the villains.
All right, we got Mr. Hinks himself. Obviously, it reminds you of Mr. Jinx a little bit. Dave Bautista coming in here with the role. Ernest Stavro Blofeld, played by Christoph Waltz, here, coming into a major villain role. Obviously, it's a callback to the earlier Bond films with Connery. And Max Denby, that's going to be C, played by Andrew Scott.
Yeah, very impressive with the pronunciations with those names. But now we got to go with Chris's favorite segment of this Bond review series.
Titties! I'm sorry. Yeah, man. And of course, we have our Lucia Sciarra, played by Monica Bellucci, who I don't even know how old she is. I'm not even going to guess, but is still a certified fox. Mm-hmm. And of course, Dr. Madeline Swan, portrayed by Léa Seydoux. What are you going with there, Brad? Sato?
I'm going with Sato. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
man.
Calabunga.
Two lovely ladies who both knock it out of the park. I just wish that Monica Bellucci, much like Gemma Arterton in the what was she in? In Quantum, would have gotten a little bit more screen time, but she serves her purpose nonetheless.
Yes.
Yes. And then, once again, guys, so we kind of refer it back to the Skyfall review. We are not going to be counting Moneypenny and the Bond girls here, just because we know her role in this particular one. So, but we still want to give her Naomi Harris Moneypenny a shout out, but she is not for us considered a Bond girl in this particular movie.
Otherwise known as Pennywise.
Shut up.
All right, let's get to that car.
Man, wow.
Anyways,
it's going to be on our next skit, Money Pennywise.
I could just imagine that. But anyways, we got the Spectre car in this one. And it's the Aston Martin DBS 10. Hot damn, this car is sexy.
I had the opportunity to see this car at the Bond Museum a couple years ago in London. And yeah, man, it looks pretty sweet.
Man, I'm about to hit that ejector seat button on your ass just because you're seeing all this. Also, you get to see No Time to Die earlier than us, and then now you get to see this. You got to saw that.
Yeah,
car.
for fuck's sake, Brad. This is not. We're doing a review here, okay? Not a gloat session, okay? Give me a break.
Okay, well, stick it in your ear, LaFleur. I won the game. We're sweating like grease monkeys out here. Let's get into this thing.
No, hey, you know what? That's a warning. But. Oh, man, I can't wait to do that review someday. But let's go ahead and just get into it. Brad, we'll start off with you since you're the king of the castle. What do you like about this movie, the positives?
There's a lot of good things that I like about it. And I mean, let's just take a minute and talk about the one of my favorite parts about this movie every time is the opening shot down in Mexico City, the Day of the Dead festival sequence they had there. They did a lot. They put a lot of effort into that sequence. And it really shows. It starts off with a fantastic tracking one-take shot of Daniel Craig walking through the festival, walking up, taking the elevator up, walking down, blowing shit up. All that stuff was great, and I love that. The fact this didn't actually take place during the Day of the Dead festival. They had hundreds and hundreds, maybe thousands of extras out there. No CGI with the characters. Duked them all out in costumes, put them out there. And they spent countless hours putting all that stuff together. A lot of effort there. There's a whole on the Blu-ray. There's a whole freaking special feature on it. And I mean, again, it's one of my favorite openings in all of the franchise. I think, if not my favorite, at least up until recent measures have happened. But anyway, it's great, man. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I absolutely love that opening scene, and that I almost treat it like a little bit of a negative as well, just because that opening scene was so damn good that it was really hard for all the other scenes throughout the rest of the movie to really top that one. Just for me personally, it's kind of like almost the Friday the 13th remake effect. Like they put pretty much all their eggs in the basket in that opening scene. It's just the rest of the movie just kind of fell flat or just couldn't measure up to that particular scene.
Yeah, I never thought of it like that before, but that's a pretty good analogy. I love it. I love the opening scene, and I also kind of hate it. I love the tracking shot, the one take. Everything about it is great. It's a great introduction, kind of bringing you back into the world of Bond and everything. And it's also really calm and grounded. And then, that building blows up. And why do they have to, and then instantly, I love it up to that point. And then just from the building falling, and then he gets in the helicopter, right? And this is where I'm going to write my first citation, right? Put that on there, right? I mean, he's, going through the air and they're fighting, and then it comes back down. And it's like, that's not really what the Craig era is supposed to be about. It's not, the other films hadn't been that way up to that point. And so I think it's a good opening because it lets you know right away that this entire thing is going to be against logic and is going to be way over the top in a way that the other ones hadn't been before. So while I love the style of it and the one take and the intro to it, the cinematography especially, all that stuff is great. And then it just comes crashing down. It's like, oh, okay, well, now I'm staring at a bunch of CGI and a bunch of, this convenience, the convenience of him just suddenly being able to pull the helicopter up just in time. It's like, fucking come on, man.
Now let me go ahead and play defense attorney here for a little bit for my client in this ticket size situation. The helicopter sequence itself, they actually didn't use CGI for that. That's actually, they had a pilot out there. They did. I mean, they it was a different location. They did splice the locations together, but they were actually they had a trick pilot or whatever out there with the helicopter, and they did all the stunts with that for real, which is another impressive feat. Now I will give you the freaking, the way he pulled is Goldeneye style, where it's like there's no way he would have time to pull the damn lever up and lift it back up and all that. But the sequence itself, it looks really good.
Yeah, I'm not saying anything about
the building was CGI.
As far as the CGI goes, I'm just talking about the building falling, and it's like, what the fuck? That's wild. That's way too over the top compared to what we've seen in the other ones, in my opinion, anyway. I don't, maybe it's comparable to when they fall and through the glass in Quantum, or whenever he's on the rooftops in Skyfall or whatever. But to me, it just seemed like that was way over the top, and then so much for the helicopter scene is not so much that it looks like CGI as it's just like, oh, of course, yeah, he beats the bad guy just in time and gets a little, clue with the ring and all that, and now he's making it, just in time. That was just kind of annoying to me. Mm-hmm. It's a retread, you know what I mean? Like, we've already done this, we know this trope 1,000 times over.
You mentioned it. What about the cinematography overall in this movie, guys? Pretty solid, I thought.
I really thought it was solid too, especially when they went to Austria in the snow. Because again, I'm a sucker for snow scenes, and just the way they shot those particular scenes was really awesome, and I really enjoyed it.
Those scenes were great. My favorite scene is the boat when he's doing the little boat ride over the pond there, if you will, at the base of the mountain when he's going to see Mr. White. I something about that shot I think was absolutely perfect. A lot of the train scenes too, where they're out in just like the middle of the desert, and you can kind of see the sunset over way off in the distance. Thought all that was great. And while we're talking about that, the cinematographer on this, and I was noticing in the credits, and we talked last time in Skyfall about how a lot of these, especially the two Sam Mendes directed ones, kind of reflect the Dark Knight trilogy just a little bit. Mm-hmm. And I was looking at here, Lee Smith edited this thing, which is Chris Nolan's editor. Chris
Didn't he a tight end for the Falcons?
God, yeah. You know what? Yeah, he is. And devastated my fantasy team. You know what? I've even lost my train of thought now. Tie news. And so Chris Corbold is the special effects supervisor who's on this film. Also works on every Chris Nolan film. And then Hoyte van Hoytema is the cinematographer on this, who has done, I think, all of Chris Nolan's movies since Dunkirk. Maybe he did I think he did Interstellar. So he's done Interstellar, Dunkirk, Tenet with him as well. So there's a lot of people in this that are Chris Nolan usuals.
It shows, man. I think, yeah. I mean, I think this is one of the most beautiful Bond movies in the bunch. With the shots specifically. You get a lot of great scenery here. You mentioned Austria, Bert. That place was fantastic. The clinic up on top of the mountain. It really reminded me of On Her Majesty's Secret Service a little bit. Again, I keep talking about that one, but it's just such a freaking good movie. And you get the Italy shots there as well with the car chase with Batista and all that stuff looks really good. And yeah, man,
yeah,
all that stuff looks good. And even when he comes into Italy in the daytime, it looks great. And yeah, I think that's always good. And the lighting, like, when you're lighting Christoph Waltz the first time we see him, you can't even tell who it is until the very end of that scene where he's sitting at the head of the table there and he's talking to his people. And that was obviously a very callback again sequence there to the older movies there with that and their old meetings at the round table, so to speak. So I think that was good as well.
Yeah, and two other positives, like a quick positive, and then my main positive. The quick positive is just pretty much Batista's just getting one line in this movie, and that was the word shit.
Shit.
And then just flies out.
Shit. Yeah.
Shit. And so that's my mini positive. But my other positive that I can really think of, for the most part, I thought all the characters were very solid. Especially with Madeline Swan. I was really intrigued with her character to see what she would bring to the Bond girls, and I thought she did a really good job with it. But Moneypenny and Q and M, they were all very solid. But I will actually go with the mix, with a little bit of a mix aspect of Daniel Craig's Bond. You could just tell, I'm sure everybody knows this already, that he got burned out at this point. He got tired. He really didn't want to do this one. And it shows on screen. It really does. I feel like he didn't give his full efforts into this movie, which is very unfortunate. Because if you're going to play one of the most iconic characters in cinema history, you would think you would bring your A game. But so that was disappointing. But like, he wasn't awful, but he was just what we call serviceable.
I really did enjoy the Madeline Swan character in this. I don't think the performance was anything to write home about with her in this particular movie. I think she definitely ups it in the next one, but in this particular movie, she's just, I like the character, Mr. White's daughter, freaking, just has a troubled past, whatever, with all that stuff and the stuff that comes out about that. I really like that she comes in to be pretty strong here. And I think overall, I mean, although the performances aren't as what I would really look for, I think the chemistry between her and Craig are pretty solid, and I really like the sequence on the train there when we kind of there's a couple sequences I really liked with her. Is one when she gets obliterated in bed and passes out, and she's kind of you get a couple of hints at her past there, and another one is on the train when she's like, "Oh, I don't like guns," and then she tells the story about how she used her dad's gun that he kept under the sink and something this and that happened earlier in her life. Really like that sequence as well, just kind of building her character up a little bit more.
Yeah, I actually dug her performance in this. I thought she did a great job. Leia Seydoux. What did we say we were going with?
Seydoux, or Seydoux.
Seydoux. I don't know, whatever. And but Daniel Craig, for what it's worth, did more stunts on this than any of the other films, and he actually ended up. What was it we learned the other night? We were watching.
He broke his fucking leg.
Yeah, so we learned that he broke his leg. I guess about halfway through filming or something like that, and so a lot of the scenes you see he's actually having a hard time because he has like a huge brace on his leg, so he's actually in a lot of pain trying to film some of these scenes. Where he chose not to get surgery right away because it was going to shut down the production for 9 months. So he just went through with the filming, and he's in a lot of pain in a lot of those scenes.
But yeah, man, another sequence I really liked was the train fight with Batista. I thought that was done really well. One of the better action sequences of the movie. For whatever, we'll get into it. But yeah, I really like that one. It's pretty brutal. It kind of goes back to the Casino Royale brutality of Daniel Craig to an extent a little bit. And he's got the white tux on, and again another nice sequence with him and Madeline in the train there. Getting it's not as good as the one with Vesper, obviously, but it's a pretty solid moment where they're getting to love each other a little bit, and I like that quite a bit. And the fight that ensues after is really nice.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the brutality of that thing. I mean, and it's nice to see that he's sort of holding his own, but really he's getting his ass kicked. And I think that's it's always a breath of fresh air when you're seeing your hero get the hell beat out of him.
Yeah, just really makes
just for the sake of reality.
Yeah, exactly. Like, bring the realism into it, and then every time you can go as realistic as you can, you're going to get like more bonus points with me. So yeah, that was a really strong scene. I really enjoyed it.
I also like the connections to Skyfall. It really felt like a genuine sequel to Skyfall here. You get a lot of the same characters coming back. Same, like the MI6 is still blowing up. You're still feeling the repercussions of that movie here. I like that as well. Just kind of getting farther and farther into this Craig storyline, and I thought they did a good job with that in this movie.
Yeah, I know what Brett kind of already brought it up, but as far as the characters go, I did think it was nice to see Ray Fiennes and Ben Whishaw and
for he who must not be named,
Moneypenny and all those characters getting more screen time and having a bit of a bigger role in this one. I thought that was kind of nice to see. I really enjoyed that.
I did too. Ray Fiennes even got into the action there at the end too, which was nice.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, because I've never really seen the male version of him actually being really in any action kind of sequences. So yeah, that was a nice change of pace for a Bond movie.
Hell
yeah, man,
I think so too.
That's the bad guy.
He dispatched him, man. Last thing for me, guys, is I don't know if it's really a positive, just more of a fun fact, but this was the most expensive explosion ever in film was in this movie when they blew up the Blofeld's compound at the end, towards the end of the movie.
Yeah, that whole shootout was great. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I thought it was decent, and the explosion was good. I mean, you wouldn't really guess by looking at it, being the most expensive explosion in all of cinematic history, but as a matter of fact, it was.
Yeah, and there's a little bit on that on Being James Bond as well, where you can see Sam Mendes looking at the camera and as everything blows up in front of him, and it's a fucking big explosion.
That was a big explosion, dude.
Yeah, it was huge. Even though the shootout and the action and the scenes there at the end are complete bullshit, the shootout, the action part of it is really great, and the explosion especially.
Another citation.
Huh? Oh yeah, yeah. We're gonna get there. Are we headed straight into the negatives now?
Let's go.
Yeah, sorry, not yet. Sorry,
Not so fast.
I thought,
Okay.
yeah, not so fast, my friend. Lee Corso there for you. But my other mix, I kind of have to go along with my Daniel Craig performance as Bond. Is the theme song.
Writings on the wall.
Yeah, Writings on the Wall.
Sam
yeah.
Smith.
Yes, thank you. For Sam Smith, I really like the song, but I feel like they could have just done something else.
You're gonna get Chris fired up, dude.
Yeah, I know. I gotta get him from point A to point B. So, and I gotta rile him up. So, Chris, I'm gonna leave it right up to you, my friend.
I mean, I was going to go straight to the negatives. I mean, that was going to be my number one.
Well, Faye, let's go ahead and do it.
One of the things that I wanted to harp on the most. I mean, yeah, it sucks, dude. I don't know. And I guess it's just because I hate it so much, because I'm biased, because I was so pumped whenever they were like, man, full disclosure, Radiohead's my favorite band. So of course, it broke my heart a little bit, but I was so pumped whenever they were like, man, Radiohead's going to do the theme song, this, that, and then all of a sudden, it kind of went under the radar. And then all of a sudden, Sam Smith was like, oh yeah, I did the Bond song. And then he's doing a music video for it. And then it came out that, Tom York came out and said, oh yeah, we did record a song, but they said it was too dark. So we're just going to release it on its own. And it's so much better. It's so much fucking better than that orchestral piece of shit. The Sam's, and I love Sam Smith and everything, but that was just just a misfire. And for them to say it was too dark, and then you listen to the Billie Eilish thing, I mean, it's just like it's like a one note, and her just like,
yeah,
I'm dead, I want to die, and all that shit. So it's like, this is so fucking. That's the darkest thing ever. And then Adele, I mean, how it just doesn't make any sense. So you know what? That's citation logic police right there. It doesn't make any sense that it was too dark. It works perfectly.
Here's the thing.
Yeah, we're sorry. And what really that just is like dark? What could be more? I could easily tell you another Bond song that's just darker than all that. It's freaking Die Another Day.
Get out of here.
That's the darkest song in the whole Bond franchise of being so awful. So you could write, you could give a whole booklet of citations for that song alone. But anyways, Brad, up to you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry about Radiohead, man. I like the song. I thought it was good. I like Sam Smith's song, though. I mean, I thought it was solid. I don't really.
You know what? Call me next week when we're on the next episode. I'll see you guys later.
I don't really. I mean, I don't really have a horse in this battle, so to speak, or whatever the fuck the saying is. I just know that I enjoyed the Sam Smith song. I listened to it quite a bit when it came out. I like it. I think it's good. I like the Radiohead one too, but I don't have any issues with this one at all. I think I really enjoyed it. Of course, it won an Oscar for Best Original Song for a Screenplay or for a movie or whatever the title is for that Oscar. But
further my point that the Academy doesn't know their ass from a hole in the ground. Okay,
I liked it though. I like Sam Smith. I thought this was a good song. I think
Sam Smith too. I just don't like the song.
For me, I think the Craig movies are freaking 5 for 5 for their songs, with Quanah being the weakest of the bunch. But You know, I don't think it's bad by any means, but I think this is another banger for me.
Well, now we've got that out of the way, and I want to move on as quickly as possible so that my brain doesn't stay on it. I want to talk about, and speaking of music, I want to go right into this. There are so many scenes in this where the score is completely overbearing. I don't know if it was just me. It's just like it's a retread of Skyfall, which we kind of touched on last week. It's a retread of a lot of Skyfall and overbearing at times. It doesn't seem like, and there's times whenever it's really perfect for the moment, and then other times whenever it's just loud and it just kind of takes you out of the scene a little bit. I felt like. Did you guys get any of that?
I did, yes, because I think again, I've harped on this before many times. I think this was a very disappointing score for me overall. Not because it's necessarily bad, but it is literally ripped from Skyfall and put into this movie. And they in the trailer for this movie, they actually brought back the John Barry theme from On Her Majesty's Secret Service. Again, I'll say that again, which is one of my favorite themes in the franchise. And they put it in the trailer. They put it in there. It's like, oh, it sounds fantastic in the trailer. It's all great. Are they redoing the song and putting it in this? Oh, hell yeah, let's do it. But they didn't do it. They put in the same score from Skyfall, which was very disheartening and whatnot. So that's me as a big negative overall.
Yeah, like they had the opportunity to make the score for this movie really strong. Especially I feel like at this time, like I think this was supposed to be the last Bond movie for Daniel Craig.
He wanted to, yeah. I mean, he mentioned after the fact that he was done, but he ended up.
Yeah, like doing another one, but let's just say, like, just during this time for it being the last one, to do something epic with the score, and it just didn't really do anything for me. It was just meh at most times. So score, big miss.
Yeah, I think so too, man. I tell you guys are in for a fucking treat with the next one, guys. This it's one of the best scores of all time. So, and yeah, it really shits on this one. What do y'all think about the damn Step Brothers storyline between fucking Blofeld and Bond? I thought that was a little bit weird.
Absolutely atrocious, because like it's just how convenient that is versus just like building it up, but they just randomly threw it at us. I absolutely despised it.
It wasn't
needed.
Yeah,
it was feces, human feces.
Yeah, it wasn't needed.
Yeah, and I honestly, I want to go ahead and say too, I don't like the way that they try to say, it's like the one thing I don't like about the Craig era as the movies go on, it's like all of the villains have to be connected,
right?
And I don't like that, and I'm hoping that we don't go to No Time to Die and the guy's like, Spectre was but a pawn in my scheme, and it's like, oh, Spectre was owned by, it's like, okay, we're with the guys in Casino, but really they're run by Quantum, really they're whatever it was,
run by Spectre. If it now Spectre's ran by this guy.
Yeah, dude, exactly.
Right.
I thought this whole thing was going to be about Quantum, and Mr. White. Mr. White was the main baddie for the first two films, and you come in here and you tell me that he's just he's just fucking dead now, and you get all this, like, come on now, like this is Mr. White should have been this version's Blofeld. I think Blofeld didn't really need to come back to make this story progress. I mean, I appreciate that they were trying to go back to the roots of Bond, and I do, I think this movie does feel like a traditional Bond movie more so than any of Craig's other movies with the way it runs. But I think, you're trying too hard to do that in this movie, and it shows with the Blofeld thing. And I don't even think Christoph Waltz, he didn't show up until like an hour and a half into the movie, and his character is so underdeveloped. And I mean, he did have that one small table sequence, but he wasn't actually like given lines and being a villain until about an hour and a half into this damn movie. And honestly, like I didn't think the performances were there, really.
Yeah.
Not even from Christoph.
He's not even given that much to do.
Yeah, he's just there. And a waste of performance.
Yeah, and so that's write a citation for that. And they also, if they were going to be foster brothers or what have you, they could have at least done it without that absolutely horrid family photo. I mean,
you could have put Will Ferrell in there, dude, and
they did that
next to John C. Reilly.
You're telling me that they didn't do that on Canva? Whatever.
But you know what, Mr. Bond? I'm going to put my nutsack on your gun. You better not put your nutsack on my gun.
That's what this
Yeah.
movie felt like, dude. It's like, oh man, Daddy was nice to you, so I'm gonna. What? Yeah, like it's just weird, man.
It's
Like I
just
just
it doesn't fit in Bond.
no. They try to go a little bit personal with it. They didn't need to do that. I just didn't think this movie needed that. You don't like if you're bringing Blofeld into the mix, like don't go this far. Let's not do this thing. You know.
Like, let him be like an evil genius. Like, I still like him being one step ahead of Bond and Bond trying to figure out how to win against that. But like, yeah, don't add like a whole family angle to it. Just let him be like his own individual character. And just wants to cause evil, not revenge.
He did have a cat, but it felt everything here felt the whole thing felt superficial. Like he didn't even feel real. Like there wasn't anything real about this movie. I didn't think it all felt just
Yeah,
like
it was just
like
forced.
yeah, it was forced. They were just trying to follow the blueprint from before, and I appreciate that. You know, I love the old Bond movies, but you know, it just didn't work because you're trying to cram so much into this movie, and then you throw Blofeld in an hour and a half in. It's like, oh gosh, come on now. Yeah, this big twist that he's Blofeld. Who didn't see that coming? I mean, I just I don't know.
And I was just going to say, to add a little bit to that, my probably biggest complaint about the whole thing is like, it just feels like they're going by the numbers. There's really nothing that's out of the blue here. It's just like, oh, we're going from point A, and this is what I'm talking about in terms of convenience and you know, the logic police and everything. It's like, oh, we're going from here to here. Show up at this one scene, and you know that you're going to get like the most convenient way to get to the next scene. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, show up and bang this guy's widow, and she's going to tell me to go here, whatever. I'm going to go there, and the guy's going to spot me and jump out the window, car chase, add some action. You know what I mean? It's just by the numbers very much.
Yeah, they literally get on a random ass train, which takes them into the middle of the desert. They get dropped off, and a fucking car picks them up and takes them to Blofeld's house.
That's right.
And then, I mean, come on. There's no.
It's like a big old video game storyline, like for missions.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Kind
It's
of.
going from one location. There's a lot of locations in this movie, which is great for a Bond movie, but you don't really. It doesn't feel organic. It doesn't feel natural. It doesn't feel like it actually needs to. It's just bouncing around, and you're getting from A to B, and it works. But I mean, it's weird.
A couple other things. You never once get an explanation as to why Christoph Waltz is wearing those loafers, which I really do love. I've been trying to look them up online to see if I can get them on Amazon. Love the loafers. Okay, hit that entire compound explodes in the most expensive explosion in cinematic history, yet he's able to survive it with nothing more than a cut eyeball. So that's extremely dumb. Then Bond shows up there at the end. They hit the car, and while they're trying to take the one people to the back of the car, M is able to escape and make it like a half mile away without being spotted by anyone. Which is ridiculous. He's able to walk all the way up that one building, take all the bullets out of that guy's gun, and then basically just troll him after he comes in. Oh, C stands for careless. And then Bond comes back. He has to go and rescue Madeline, and she, what is it, 3 seconds left or whatever, and suddenly there just happens to be a fucking net that's going to hold all their weight, and he knows it's there, and he's going to jump. Do you trust me? Okay, cool. 3 seconds, no problem at all. Let's land.
What
on
a
this
moment,
net.
man!
Yeah,
for the
just
bushes.
land.
Not to mention he had like 90 seconds to get through the building and find her, and he goes up like 50 stories and then jumps down or whatever it was. Like
3 minutes. And then he jumps down, lands on the fucking net, and then somehow knows that and then once he lands there, is able to get down to the underground area, know that there's a boat in there, get on the fucking boat, and then drive it out as soon as everything is crashing down on him, right?
And then they shot a helicopter down with a pistol.
Yeah, that too. So you know what?
Let's make that a three finger right there.
You know what I'm talking about here? I'm running out of room.
We're loading wagons right here.
I'm running
man.
out of room. It's like
Yeah, it's just the third act for me was just I wouldn't say it's lazy, but it wasn't really exciting. Like I would actually prefer the third act and Quantum of Solace than in this movie. It's just in my opinion on that. But what I will give the third act credit for is like one of the last shots of this movie where Bond is between where he's with Blofeld, and then behind him was M, and then across from him was Madeline. So he was kind of like a representation of him choosing, because him and Bond and Madeline having a conversation later on in the movie about what Bond, kind of like left. Being a spy and all that, kind of like what life would be like that. That was kind of like his crossroads of like him making that ultimate decision, and eventually he went with Madeline Swan. But I like kind of like that shot that they Bond like in between a situation of choosing which side he wanted to be on.
Right.
Yeah,
Do I go back to work or do I, go back to Madeline and move to Jamaica and father a daughter?
I would love
Oh
to go
my
back. I would with samurai swords. I'd go back
Yeah.
to Madeline every single time, man. Every single time.
Oh yeah, buddy.
Yeah,
I'm
no
telling
doubt.
you, yeah.
I just go over to him and go,
Yeah. I'd say,
yeah,
"All right,
like
see you, buddy.
like it's like this is
I
a
got
no
places
brainer,
to put
dude.
my face."
Yeah, yeah. Amazing Grace.
Okay.
Sit on my.
The ending of it for me, I thought was kind of comical with him crawling out, and he's like, then the helicopter crashes, but he doesn't die. He climbs out, and did you guys secretly hope that we were going to get like a 7 type scenario where there was going to be like an overhead shot and we were going to see Bond just blow his fucking head off? It was going to roll credits.
Yeah,
Like,
kind of, man.
What if that had been the end? Like,
The
what if he
ending,
shot
the
him
ending
in
is
the
good
head
though.
and- What if he just shot him in the head and all of a sudden it was like doo 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 doo? Roll credits. So people would have been like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah,
Oh,
that would
gosh.
really would have made us wonder what's going to happen next. I'll tell you though, I did like the ending of this when they drive off in the old Aston Martin, playing the old theme. I thought that was great. Actually, at the time, I did think this was going to be Craig's last movie, and I was for it at this point because I was like, you know what, this is a pretty good send off for his character. Glad he didn't. Glad he came back because obviously there's more potential out there for better send offs. But this is this was a good moment, and I enjoyed it quite a bit, man.
Yeah, the ending of it was great. I love the last scene of him driving off and the music cueing in and all that. But it did feel like there was just something left to be desired there. I don't know. It just seemed like the whole third act just seems like it drags on for a really long time. It doesn't
For
really leave
nothing.
any time. Yeah, it doesn't really leave any time for like a conclusion. And I do, even though I thought it was kind of comical about the shooting the helicopter down with a pistol and all that. That's kind of comical, but I like the division that Brett was talking about with having Madeline on one side and M on the other, and the representation of that. That's all fine. It just seemed like there should be something more because then he walks toward her, and then he just asks Q for the car, and then they just drive off.
Yeah,
Well,
I
he
like.
didn't
seemed like there
even
should have been
ask Q. He just took the damn car.
He took the shit out of it. And I'll tell you what I like though is
At the very end, he goes back and asks him for it. I'm not talking about earlier. At the very end of it,
Yeah.
he goes
Oh,
back
okay.
and he asked for the
Yeah.
old car.
You're right.
So I did like a lot the little moments you have between Bond and Madeline in this movie. Just kind of, you don't get a lot of character moments from Bond in this movie, but you get a couple little sequences when you can tell that he's actually he might actually be developing feelings for this young lady, as opposed to just being another Bond girl. Kind of jumping back into that Vesper situation a little bit here, and just a couple little things like whenever she's like holding his hand in the back of the car, and he's trying to support her and stuff like that, and she tells him that he loves him, and the when he's in the little chair of doom. What the fuck even was that anyway?
And why did it work?
It didn't work.
Huh?
It didn't work. Yeah, he's
like,
hey,
yeah.
I'm Bond still.
Yeah, drills into his fucking head. This is going to affect your balance and your vision and your sperm count and everything else. This one's going to affect your memory. You're not going to remember who a fucking person is. They both go into his head and come back out, and he's just like, I don't know what the hell that was.
But him fucking one shot in the whole army with like one shot at a time. He's like better than ever at this point.
Yeah, Craig going.
It's like he does come by and think about that, but he comes back better than ever, man.
Okay, yeah, and my pretty much again like the little last negative. Chris kind of like already touched upon it already. It's just kind of like something about like the send off ending just kind of felt off, and I guess just for me personally, it just doesn't feel earned. Like that's the only I really can't explain it because again, it's just his whole movie to me is just one big blah. But it's just I can't again put a finger to it. I just feel like the third act was not earned, and for this being like a potential last Bond movie for Daniel Craig, that is just extremely disappointing. And that's all I really got for it for the negatives. It's just really disappointing.
I got one more thing to say, and this
Go
is
for
something
it.
that I noticed. I know I really harped positively on the cinematography throughout the movie earlier, and obviously I still stand by that. I love it for the most part, but the lighting on Craig in this movie, holy shit, dude, he looks older in this movie than he does in No Time to Die. He looks fat at times, like he's got this little chin thing coming on, like especially he's on the chair of doom. Like I just thought the lighting was very unflattering for him. Yeah, he's a handsome as hell guy. He's hot. I don't know what you know what I'm talking. Did you guys feel the same way when you saw some of this? I just feel like they did not light him very well in certain sequences. I don't know. Maybe he did get a little chubby with his broken leg. I don't know, but he just did not look the part here in this movie as much as he does in his 4 other movies, in my opinion.
I
Yeah, I
noticed
think
it a
so.
little bit.
There were a couple of times, especially like whenever he was when he was about to bang Miss Bellucci. He looks kind of old there, and even on some level at the very beginning in that one take, whenever he takes he shows the back of his head and he takes the thing off. I did think that he looked kind of old right there, but you know what? That brings me to one last thing that I wanted to say. Did anybody else find it obnoxious and weird whenever he's simultaneously trying to seduce and interrogate Monica Bellucci at the same time?
He does weird shit, man. That's what I'm saying, man. That's one thing
that
about
was-
these. That's one thing about these Craig movies that's been kind of off overall because they've done such a good job of kind of making things regrounded again, but they still feel like they have to go back to the old Bond where he's just seducing women and interrogating, getting information out of them sometimes. So you felt like that scene was a little bit weird, and the one where he freaking surprises the girl in the shower in Skyfall was a little bit weird too.
Oh yeah, Severin. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, they kind of balance that line a little bit, but it is what it is. Yeah, I felt the same way. I thought that was another sequence where he did look really old in this one. I don't know what it is because he doesn't look. That's not what he looks like. He looks good. All the interviews after this movie came out, he looked 100 times better than he did in this movie. I really don't know what happened, but and even in No Time to Die, he looks way better than he does in this movie.
Can I throw out a theory that, and I mean, I don't know if you guys knew or not, but Sam Mendes was also reluctant to come back to this one. I really don't think
it shows.
he wanted to. Yeah, and I think that I believe that the studio threw so much money at him that he was like, well, there's no way I can say no. I really believe that. And in between that and Craig also being kind of like, well, I don't know if I want to do another one. They decided to come back. And then if you guys remember, the script leaked for this about a month or a couple months before shooting, or maybe they had already started shooting and the script leaked and they paused the shooting and they were like, well, should we rewrite it or whatever? And they decided to just go with it. And I think that they really rushed a lot of these shots. I think they didn't take their time to perfect any of them, and I think that's what we're seeing bleed through right there. Of course, I don't know that. That's just a theory.
It feels like they're going through everything on a first draft in this movie. Like the dialogue feels off, the shots. I mean, the cinematography is good, but like the performances feel a little off. Everything in this movie feels like they're going through a first draft, and they didn't perfect it. So I mean, I think this movie was totally rushed. I mean, there's a lot of things about it I like, but I think it's a missed opportunity overall, and that's really all I have to say about it.
Me too. Bertie, you ready to get into some grades?
Yeah, I am absolutely ready, and I'll go ahead and go first. Originally coming in here, I was just going to give this a 4 out of 5, but after talking about those negatives, they really just stand out. And shockingly, I'm putting this at 3.5 out of 5.
I concur. That's what I was going to do as well, as a 3.5.
Well, I was going to say 1.5. No, I'm kidding. I like this on the level of like a guilty pleasure or something like that. I really don't have that much against it. I just, like you said, it's kind of a missed opportunity. It just doesn't really, it's just a shame that all the other Craig era Bond movies are so much better. I was going to say 3.75, but what the hell? We'll make it 3.5. Let's keep it all unanimous.
Bert, give us that. What is it?
That's going to be a low trip to the Sachi there. A low trip to the Tosche station to get some good old power converters.
But I was going into Tosche station to pick up some power converters.
Shit,
Hell
yeah.
Overall, man,
Yeah.
I love the fact that this goes back to the traditional style of Bond. It feels like the most Bond movie of all the Craig movies, but again, I just think they kind of it was a little bit lazy. It seemed like.
I will tell you
Yeah.
one thing though, that it caught my eye toward the very end of it. It was missing something, and I couldn't quite figure out what it was. You know what it was, Brett?
What was it?
I mean, it's a goddamn rat, man.
I'm gonna go ahead and get us on out of here, just because I can't top anything else other than that. So, guys, what did you all think about Spectre? Do you actually disagree with us, and you actually really enjoy and love this movie, or are you kind of like us that you did like it, but there's obviously things wrong with this movie? Let us know in that comment section down below, and let's get that discussion rolling.
And if you just find the good reels, you can do so by finding us on Facebook, Instagram, Letterboxd, Twitter, Snapchat, Apple Podcast, Spotify, and TikTok. Those links are in the description for you to find down below. And if you want to buy anything, just raise your hand.
That was way too fucking fast, but I can go faster. Be sure to like this video, share, and subscribe. Of course, ring that bell, ding ding ding, so you know when the next video is up and ready.
Ding ding ding.
Ding ding ding.
And we will be seeing you guys very soon for no
Time
to die.
Everyone go out and download the track Spectre by Radiohead and watch Spectre with that over it instead of that god-awful Sam Smith bullshit.
Stick it in your ear.
We're gonna
Go
get out of
see.
here. Or
Hey,
this is
go
gonna
see
go,
No Time to Die. It needs the money.
It's gonna
Peace
go.
out.
This will go 30 more minutes if we keep on with that conversation. So see you guys.